イントいくらか。じゃあポイントから。はい。はい。
残り180まで。はい。
Alright everyone, so welcome to 15 out of 50, Focus Theory and Analytics. So this is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 3:30 to 5. I just got a room for a review session on Tuesday, Thursday for anyone who needs to catch up a little bit. The class is here, 4 through 70. I'm Kevin Desmond, I'm going to be the instructor. Paul Mendes, the faculty advisor, and this is worth 3 credits. The gameplay aspect. So this is what I did. I think this is really cool. So PokerStars gave us our own private league for only MIT people in this course. And my goal here is to separate people who are like fairly new from people who are very competitive. Because I don't want someone not to pass the course because they happen to be not that great at poker. So I created this thing called the Beginner's League. And these are going to be daily turbos. Turbos means like they're fast-ish tournaments. And to get the gameplay credit, you can cash, you can make money in one of them, or you can play in 10 of them. So those who are struggling can get this gameplay credit by playing 10 tournaments, which is about like a 10-hour period. Let's go into the gameplay aspect. So PokerStars created this private league for us, which is really cool. So PokerStars is generally considered like the most reputable online poker site. That's why we use them. So they have 2 different types of games. So they have real money and play money games. Now, if you're in the U.S., you can't do real money. Like that, it used to be something that was very gray area. It became, and then there was one poker site which turned out to be like legitimately like a Ponzi scheme, and as a result, now poker in the U.S. is like much more black and white. Definitely not okay for real money. However, their play money scene is pretty resilient, and that's what we're taking advantage of. The PokerStars play money scene is broken down into 2 different things. They have like public games, just go and play for like play chips against anyone in the world, which is cool, and you can do that. Like, and I recommend you give it a shot just to get used to the software. In addition, you can do home games, which is what we're generally going to be doing. That's what they call their like private. So in the private league, in like their home games, they have this showcase. And you might notice, as soon as you log in, that the MIT league, Poker Theory and Analytics, is already at the top. That's not just for us, that's for everyone. Anyone in the world who logs into PokerStars and looks at home games has the MIT league at the top, which I think is really cool. So to access this, I'll send out more specific instructions later. I gave you guys the just like the passcode of what you need. But to actually get there, what you need to do is, you log into PokerStars, you go to like this button, which is a little house, to access the home game, and then you want to join the game. And what you do is, you put the club ID, which is 557-832, you put the invitation code, which you're all going to have on Stellar, and then you put your real name, preferably the one that's listed in the course, because I actually have to approve everyone that joins the league, and I can't do it just based on someone's screen. And I guess you have to agree to some sort of terms and conditions. So let's talk about hand histories. So a lot of the analytics are going to be based off of hand histories, which are just text files that PokerStars gives you to the extent that you you indicate that you want to save them down. So these are like kind of jumbled messages of text. Each line is just one thing that happens, and you might get used to reading it or might not, depending on how much you're going to scrutinize it. But more importantly, you can use these in all the data analytic programs that we're going to use. Like in particular, like Poker Tracker runs off of that. You'll load just thousands of hands into Poker Tracker, and it'll do analytics for you. Like it knows exactly what's going on based on that format, which is generally considered universal. And then for the sake of visualizing these hands, like if you just read it, that's fine. But then if you want to show other people, I'm recommending we use something called the Universal Hand History Replayer, which is something that's free. And what it does, it just reads the hands and it plays them. It animates what happened as if you were seeing it for real. So the deal with hand histories is, if you're a real money player, PokerStars dedicates databases of hand histories so that if you want, you can request all your hand histories at any time. For play money players, they let you capture your own hand histories if you want, but they definitely don't save them. So the reason I'm showing you this now, and I'm going to email it out to you later, is if you lose your hand histories or you don't capture them in time, you'll never get them back. So make sure you're actually capturing hand histories, because we're going to be using that for a lot of the analysis. Okay, so let's talk about the league. And honestly, I think like this league is going to be really cool. Usually the evolution of a player is like they're terrible at poker, and then they start becoming good at playing against bad people, and then when they actually start playing for real, they get crushed again because they're used to playing against other bad people. So this will actually hopefully get you used to playing against other people who are playing correctly, which is not something you can commonly learn just from like playing around with your friends. In addition, through playing in these online leagues,